This is my audience. Yay, everybody looks so happy to be here. I just fed them, so now they're all tired. Alright. Alright, so today I'm going to be talking a little bit about social media and where you're really getting your information from. Most of us as Americans watch the news, read the newspaper, or find some other means of, gathering information about current events. A lot of us go on the internet now. But focusing mainly on news networks, how many of you, when you do watch the news, only watch one news channel? Most of you probably don't, switch around looking at all of them to see what stories are the same. So, anyways, I'd like to take, 3 different popular news networks, and I did some background research on them. So CNN, for starters, is currently owned by the Turner Broadcasting, which is a sub-company of Time Warner, which is a cable corporation. NBC, which is also known as NBC Universal, is currently owned by Comcast, and they're also split between General Electric, which I thought was kind of weird, because General Electric doesn't have anything to do with that whatsoever. Fox News is currently owned by shareholder Rupert Murdoch. And just to have a little fun, I decided to do some background research and get some dirt on these guys. To start off, Turner Broadcasting is headed by Ted Turner, who is currently ranked 239 out of 400 on the Forbes 400 Richest Americans. I mean, it's not terribly bad up there, but he's still on there. There's also a recent story concerning a statement that he made about the recent increase in military suicides compared to combat deaths. He stated, "I think it's good because it's clear that we're programmed and we're born to love and help each other, not kill each other or destroy each other. That's an aberration that's left over from hundreds of years ago. It's time for us to start acting enlightened," quoted from Fox News. First of all, how ironic it is that Fox News would do a story on one of their competitors that's somewhat slandering. And second of all, in my personal opinion, these troops don't sound very enlightened if they're committing suicide. You see, the next is Rupert Murdoch, and he's a shareholder of Fox, and he's also on the Forbes 400. He's a little bit higher up on the list. He is currently ranked number 36 out of 400, which I found was really interesting. He and his company were actually recently framed in a phone hacking scandal in the UK. I believe it was between a murder victim and a troop that actually died over in Iraq. They were actually hacking into the voicemails that were left between the family members to try to get a good story, so, go figure there. Next is General Electric, which is one of America's biggest multi-billion-dollar corporations. They were a participant in the federal bailouts in 2009 that I'm sure we all remember. And get this, right after they took all that bailout money, which I believe was $6 billion, they turned right around and shipped jobs over to China, leaving Americans unemployed. So, way to go, guys. Whether or not we like it, news broadcasting companies are one of the biggest forms of propaganda in America, and their main concern is ratings. A really good example of this are some of the recent events that just happened to take place right around election time, which worked wonders for them. As I'm sure most of you have already heard, the U.S. consulate in Benghazi was attacked on September 11th, and our U.S. ambassador to Libya was murdered along with 3 other Americans. Shortly after the Benghazi attack, Hurricane Sandy started ravaging the East Coast on October 28th. Every single news group used these stories to their advantage to sway votes, just by listening to the different stories. Oops, sorry. While these events were taking place, I could not believe how many different takes I heard. I mean, I've heard everything from Obama was not releasing all the information that he should have, to Romney was trying to frame Obama and saying this, and it was just ridiculous. But bottom line is, do your research before you deem something as being completely credible, and think for yourself. Because in the end, nothing is ever 100% true. And sometimes just putting 2 to 2 together is the best thing that you can do. Because, like I said, you can never trust any of these guys. So, that's everything.
chef to bring one in to make sure that everyone's safe or something.
Oh, thanks,
They
Steve.
had to do that
Alright,
for
he
mine.
said I need to do another panorama. Here's everybody. They stayed. I didn't bore them to death.
Good job.